Well, welcome back, everybody. Thanks for joining the Raider roster report today. This is Raider Sparks coming at you with another episode here. Hopefully, everybody had a good and safe New Year's, kicking off the 2026 season. 2025 wasn't so good, but things are looking promising. As long as we get that number one pick, I think it's pretty clear who our pick's going to be. But we'll. This is not a video to talk about the draft picks just yet. I want to see the process play out before I kind of make any comments on that. But it's becoming more and more obvious who our pick should be. I think Brady made some comments yesterday or the day before about it, so it should be interesting. Anyways, I just wanted to talk about a coaching candidate that I think. I don't know why Soretti's not getting talked about, man. That guy at Indiana is incredible, but I don't know if his hat's in the ring for an NFL job. I think he's a college coach, but that would be interesting to pair his coach and his quarterback, Fernando there. That would be kind of cool. But anyways, I think there's another coaching candidate that's being kind of overlooked. I know Mike LaFleur has talked about a lot, and so is Clint Kubiak up in Seattle. A couple offensive minds, that type of thing, and I do think we'll go with an offensive coach. It kind of makes sense if we get the new quarterback. But I kind of wanted to talk about another guy that nobody's really talking about is Adam Stenavich, the Green Bay Packers offensive coordinator. This guy, he checks a lot of the boxes, and I think more than anything, he's a true football coach. Like, he's kind of worked his way through the O-line. He was an O-lineman himself. He played a little bit in the league. Got the Michigan connection. I believe he was a teammate with Spytech actually for a year or two at Michigan, so that's obviously important. And got his coaching career started at Michigan, but did play some offensive line in the league and that type of thing, but kind of worked his way up. Coached under Mike Shanahan at the 49ers in 2017, so he's got that going for him. And obviously he is with Matt LaFleur now, so all those coaching trees we all like. The knock on him is kind of, maybe he doesn't call the plays as the offensive coordinator, but I mean, Mike LaFleur doesn't either for the Rams, so I don't think we could use that against Adam. But I think Adam's a terrific coach. He's a good teacher, and I really like the kind of his upbringing. Our weak spot is the offensive line, so why not get an offensive-minded coach that really understands how to build and have an offensive line perform. And he's also the run game coordinator too, so he's got that going for him. So obviously last year our number one pick was Ashton Genty, so the best thing we could do to make that pick as good as we can is to get a coach that really understands the running game, really understands the offensive line and how to build that. Plus, he's only 42 years old, and I think he can, having been a player in the league, having coached in a couple different organizations, and having a coaching tree like he's come from, especially with the Packers, have recently produced a lot of good coaches. So I think he can build a staff with no problem. I really do think, and he's got the Michigan connection. That's huge too. So I do think he should be a candidate. He interviewed for the Bears head coaching job last year. Obviously didn't get it. The Bears made a good decision with Ben Johnson, but I do think Adam here should be at least getting the interview, and I really hope, one thing the Raiders have to do with their coaching staff, and we've tried all this X and O's genius thing, and it kind of didn't work, right? We just need a real football coach in there to really teach these young guys. I mean, and the veterans that we bring in, because we've turned this roster over half from what it was last year, and it's gonna be another half. I mean, there's going to be 1 and 2 year players, 9 this year, and then another 9 coming. So almost half of the team is going to be very young, and then we're going to replace that with veterans and free agency with all the money that we have. So we really need somebody that can bring a program in that they can actually teach these guys and not just have a bunch of X's and O's on the board and nobody understand what they're doing. I think that's kind of been the biggest problem. There's so much turnover. So we need the next coach to come in to be able to actually coach and teach his system so that the guys can learn it quickly. And maybe even the more complicated stuff we don't need right now. We just need somebody that can come in and coach, especially a young quarterback. Obviously Stenovich has done that with Love, so that kind of fits. If you look at the Packers team as a whole, I mean, their strong suit, right, is tight end. They have an elite tight end. We have an elite tight end. They have a good tight end in Musgrave. We have a good tight end in Mayer. So it's kind of a match there. They use a bell cow running back, which that's what we do, or that's what we have. That's what we should do. And then the receivers, yeah, they have a couple highly drafted receivers, but their main two receivers are small school guys, and so that's a lot of teaching that went into getting those receivers to be good NFL receivers, and that's kind of the process we need. I mean, and they have a quarterback coach there in Sean Mannion, who was an ex-quarterback in the NFL as well, who he can probably bring over as the OC. Obviously, he's got to know the system. So I think all of those things would help. And then as far as his DC, and there's a couple guys that were in the Packer land that are kind of floating out there. Like Jerry Gray's got a ton of NFL experience. He's a very good defensive coordinator. I actually want Jim Leonhard from the Broncos. I want to steal the Broncos guy because I want to switch to a 3-4. Really, the Raiders, what we should do is switch to a 3-4. The top defenses in the league. You got the Ravens, Eagles, Vikings, Broncos. Those are all 3-4 defenses. Yeah, the Texans run a 4-3, but I mean, the best defenses in the league, the majority of them are 3-4 based. It's just to be a lot of turnover for us. But we're turning the roster over anyways. We might as well go all the way and get a 3-4 guy. But if not, like a Jerry Gray would be great. I mean, he's got a ton of experience. You'd have a young head coach. You'd want that kind of leadership in the other department in the defense. So, I mean, there's some guys that he can get. I'm sure he's got a huge network of guys having played in the league and coached in the league now for as long as he has. I think it would be a good candidate for the Raiders. Let me know what you think in the comments. Who the Raiders should go out and get. I know the hot names are LaFleur and Kubiak. I get that, but again, I kind of like the fact that Stenovich has not only played but can coach up the offensive line, because that's our weakest spot, and then we can kind of build the team out from there. There's a huge amount of decisions that need to get made by the Raiders, if they want to switch over to defense, completely overhaul it to go to a 3-4 defense, which I think they should do. What do you do with Max in that situation? You definitely trade him if you're going to a 3-4 defense. If you're going to stick with the 4-3, then maybe you don't trade him, but I would trade Max right now, the trading deadline for sure, and get those draft picks. It makes a lot of sense. This team needs a complete overhaul. Even looking at Colton Miller, I mean, if you moved on from, if you traded Max and Colton and somehow traded Tyree, cut Gino and cut Kappa, our cap space would be about $230 million plus whatever it goes up. I mean, that would be an incredible amount of money. We could definitely build the team. Sure, not ideal to get rid of Colton with a rookie quarterback, but I mean, you buy a left tackle and then you get that draft capital. So yeah, you spend some money, but you get the draft picks to kind of build the rest of the defense or whatever you need to do. And watching these games, man, there's a lot of talent out there, man. There's defensive talent, offensive line talent. There's all kinds of stuff. I'm not sure how much offensive line starting you want to get. You kind of want to buy the offensive line if you're going to go with the rookie quarterback, because we already have a lot of youngsters. We have Rodgers is pretty much a rookie. Grant, we don't know. That was a waste of time with Forsythe. He should have been playing the whole time. And then JPJ was really pretty young. He's missed so much time. So we got a lot of unknowns. And then Parham, he's probably not coming back. And Glaze probably needs to be replaced. So there's a lot going on there. And to kind of rely on the draft for the line when you've got a rookie quarterback may not be the best approach. So I understand the need to keep Colton Miller, but at the same time, he's hurt a lot now. He's kind of getting up in age, and he still has some value, I think, as far as a trade. So it's something to kind of consider. But man, Spytek's got a tough job. You think you have your coaching staff solved? You think you've got your quarterback solved? And you just need to build out the rest of the roster. And in 1 year, all that sideways. Your quarterback isn't solved and your coaching staff isn't solved. So, and you still need to build out the roster. So it's a tough deal. Hopefully they're patient with Spytek, because I think he can get it done. But I do like Adam Stenavich as a possible coaching candidate for this team. He's got the right connections. He's got the right background, the coaching tree. All of those things, and he's got the player experience, and he's got the in-depth knowledge of the offensive line, which is huge for us. So anyways, that's all I got today. Happy New Year's, everybody. Hopefully, best case scenario, the Giants just lose in the opening window of Sunday, and then we can just sit back and get a win against Kansas City and still get the #1 pick. But if not, there's other scenarios that can happen. But we definitely need that #1 pick, and then it'll be on to draft season. Actually, I guess probably Sunday night or Monday Pete will probably be fired, and then we'll be talking a lot more about the coaches. But I just want to get this video out since we're getting close to that point in time of interviewing our coaches. I think Adam Stenavich should be getting a look for the Raiders, and he would be a terrific coaching candidate for us. Anyways, that's all I got. Please like, share, subscribe. Put your comments in there. Who do you want the Raiders to hire? Should we fire Pete or not? And who's your best candidate? Anyways, I'll talk to you later. Bye.